how to highlight corresponding donut section when you hover over the legend in Chart.js. That will be the question for today. So this is one of our viewers' question, and this question here, let's go here on one of my videos on YouTube, and then if we scroll down here, this is about how to modify legend completely. And then here we have Jafar Ali. He was asking this question, and he wanted to have basically here he's referring to a specific item in the video here, the hover branch, or basically the branch main street. When you hover over one of these elements, or at least on the legend, can we create a color here indicating that we're hovering on that one, so that we know which one we're hovering by changing the color of that specific section? This is a great question, and it's quite a nice one because this is very interactive. And to do this, what I'm going to do is, because it will be very tough, honestly, it's quite tough to work within the legend itself in the canvas. So what I need to do is we're going to do this in two ways. So we're going to break it in two steps. So let me explain. First, we're going to create a HTML legend. Yes. With that, we need to have also the arrays connected to the legend with these values, the colors and everything, etc., etc. Once we have that, then we can start to create an effect on there, pinpointing specifically that item. This will be fun, and it's, once you understand how to do it, it's quite easy. Alright, so let's start and do this. Oh, I will just keep that one. The first thing what I need to do in our case is, of course, to make the chart in Chart.js. So in our case, here was the specific question was on the donut, so I will make a donut chart. So what I'm going to do here is I go to Chart.js, and in Chart.js we go to the get started here, and then we get the latest version is 3.3.2. and if you watch the video here, you know that this video was from Chart.js 2.9. So are there many differences? No, it's quite minimal, so don't worry about it. So let's start and explore. First things first is I will copy all of this stuff here, all of this code, including that arrow there. Alright, copy that, put it all in here. And then, of course, because this is a bar chart, we need to convert it into a donut chart. So I will later on get the donut chart part on here. So once we have this, the next thing that we need to do is we need to get the JavaScript library for Chart.js. That's this one here. Alright. So make sure you get this. Once you have this, paste it here above, always above. And this could be, of course, here up. And alright, I'm going to remove all of this excess code here. I don't want that because it makes a mess. So there we are. So we have the most important parts now. What I'm going to do here, first of all, is to create a div. And I'll give it the class of chart box. The reason why I do this is because we want to indicate or fix the size of the chart, like what we did here, because I'm going to remove this. This is not appealing for me. It's not the right coding style. We should have that not in the HTML, that should be in the CSS. So in here up, going to do it, and the reason why I'm doing that is basically this. In Chartjs, the canvas tag will keep on growing into infinity if you don't specify specifically the value of the item or the width of the item. So that's why here. So I'm going to copy this, put it in here. We'll say chart box, and then in here we'll say width 500 or 600 pixels is more than enough. We'll save that, and once we have this, and then we go to our design here, there you are. I'm going to put some padding on the side here, so it will push it a bit away from the corner. Then we say here padding, I'll just do here 50 pixels. Alright, and then we make the chart slightly smaller. And if you wonder why does the chart get smaller itself, or the canvas, well, because of the border box. I have another video that talks about this. Border box basically calculates the complete width here. So what we can do is I just make this slightly this, and we can make this 700. I think that should be fine as well. Alright, that's sufficient. There's enough space here. There we are. That's fine. I'm going to convert this now into a nice donut chart, basically to put in here. It's just donut, but I need to probably have some structuring adjustments here. So if you see this, that works, but of course you can see here we have the lines. So border width here, I think this probably has no meaning for us. There you are. Alright, so that looks slightly better, and I realize that now it becomes very big. So what I want to do is I want to cut that away. So 600 should be more than enough. Alright, I will just cut it even to 500 because it's far too big. There you are. So what we're going to do now is, because I don't like this legend. This legend is, well, it's fantastic to be honest, the items, but to control it is harder because it's really all in here. So what I want to do here is I want to create my own legend first. With that, we will break this part, and then there will be eventually a, basically this, if you click, it will show and hide. We will break that. We can make that one, but I will just leave that out for now. And I'll maybe make a separate video for that, how to solve it if you have an HTML version of your Chart.js legend. However, for now the focus will be, if we hover over our Chart.js legend, or specifically our HTML version of the legend, can we get this basically in a specific color temporarily, and after, once we are not anymore hovering, or else if we hover over another item, can we do that as well? So basically that's what we're going to do first, because that's the most important part. Alright, so how are we going to do that? Well, first of all, I'm going to create here a legend. This legend will be hard-coded in this moment, and we can soft-code it with a for loop. For now, I will not do that one, and I think that's probably a perfect topic for next video. What we're going to do first is create the legend. So we say here div class, and I'll say here chart legend. And in here, we're going to get a few items. So what are we going to do here? Well, we can maybe get a, should we have a dot or something like that? We should have that maybe. What I will do is the following. I will just put in here a div. Now we'll just call this div a circle. And this will get the color, whatever is indicated in here. So that's where there will be the number one. We'll get the color first. So that's the first one. Next, what we will have is eventually, and yeah, we can do that one as well. Or maybe we can do this even as a span. I realize we can do this as a span. This should be maybe a unordered list, but that's all right. And then we say here, we'll do make this a paragraph. Here will be the text of the item. So that's what we need to do as well. So we say here another span. Here we're going to put in the value of this specific item, basically here the label, which we have, and then we are basically done. So we need to have the color and the matching label name. So the label name will be here, and we will use, I realize that the background color is transparent, so I don't want to play around with that. I will just get the borderline color, which is a solid red. So that's more than enough that we're going to do. So we say here circle, and then here will be class label. So what we're going to do here now is the following, and then we have to do just some adjustments on here. So we say here chart legend, and then within here we're going to say this would be, well, we have to see maybe a display flex. Create a flex box. I think eventually will be a flex box, and then we put them all together. We say here width, let's put a hard-coded width in here. I will put the width on 100 pixels. And then we say here above, because this should be flex, then we should say here justify content. And this can be flex start. And then what we have is the align items. And then we say the center. Alright, so let's see how this works. So I have no idea what really happens here. So I say here, I just put here letter A, and this will be the text red for now. See what happened here. Alright, we get this here. That's fine. We can do a still padding 20 pixels. Alright, so what we're going to do now, if we refresh this, what we have to do now is we have to get the text here, or the circle must become a circle. So we say here class circle, and this circle will be height 20 pixels, width 20 pixels, or maybe 15. Let's do this 15. And what we will say here, border radius, let's do 25% for now. See if that will create a certain color. Then the only thing we will say here, style bg color will be the item itself. That won't be working like that. I need to get the I need to connect them with JavaScript. So that's all right. I'll just leave this for now. Then we say here the JavaScript value, or we just say here background color, blue. Put it in here. All right, so that works slightly. Save that. Okay, it doesn't work like that. The reason why is that we have a span. A span is a inline. So display inline creates a style of, or basically it doesn't respect this. That's the reason why it's this. So we say here display. This can be display inline block to see if this will be considered. There we are. All right, so that's inline block. Maybe we can make this more circular or more round. There you are, red. Fair enough. Here we have this. There we have everything. We can say here this paragraph might be eventually to put this in one line. I think that would be even nice. Let's copy this here. I'm going to put it in the paragraph here. Legend paragraph. So chart legend p, and then here I'm going to put in this. And if you can see here, we'll just create the center there, and then maybe a height. I would say a height of 20 pixels. This is working. Well, it doesn't really run to center the baseline. I'm trying to get the baseline here. Somehow it doesn't work. All right, so probably because of the different heights here. So we can say here line height 20 pixels. Well, let's make this 30 pixels. Let's see what happens then. We can remove this height here. Save that. Does this work as what I desire? Not really. Fair enough. I'll leave it for now. This is not the most important item because we have to work on the most important one, that's this here. Alright, we have to get these colors, and these colors will have a color, but we have to put them in here. Maybe they should be in a for loop in JavaScript. Well, what I'm going to do is we're going to hard code them by giving this three, how many we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items in the legend. So I'm going to put here 6. Alright. Here's circle 1, circle 2. And then here label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, we have this here. So then what we're going to do is we're going to get these labels here. We have to put them in. Basically how we'll do it, I'm going to do it here. This is the best way right now, what I will know, and probably later on we can do a loop with the array, but that's alright. So we say here, I'm going to say here const label 1 equals, and then we say here query selector, and document.query selector. So basically what we're doing is we say here the document, search within the document HTML file and look for a class name, or query means search, and selector is in CSS and in JavaScript you use selector elements. In HTML we call it elements, but in CSS it's called selectors, but in JavaScript it's called one or the other. So we say here search for the selector, so search for that element or selector, and this element selector will have a class name, so we put in, it's a string, yes, it's a string value, then a dot to indicate it's a class, and the class name is label 1. Alright, this is the only thing what we need here. I'm going to put in some extra enters here, so we have some space. Alright. Do this 5 times more, and after we do the same for the colors. Alright, so then here number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then what we can do is we do the same here, but then was it the circle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Alright, same story. So once we did this, we just have to number them, and then we can start to pinpoint them. So basically we want this to pinpoint so we can get the exact value from the legend. Because basically now what we will have is multiple items here, and then I realize I should, oh yeah, that's alright, we can solve that one. We just call this circle as a class. Then we have here a circle, and the reason why is I still want this layout here. Not having that layout would break the circle design of our item. Alright, so if I save this now, I should have here these. Alright, fair enough, that looks nice, although they are all besides each other. What we can do maybe if we have this legend here, chart legend, let's see here. This is flags. If you want to have them below each other, we can do this. This flag start, I think this is not that nice. I would say here, space between. If you do space between, you will maximize it, but the maximizing is not working because we have the width is too less. No, this one is not. What did I do here? Sorry, I have to just double check. This is the wrong item. This should be space between, sorry. The reason why it's the chart legend, that's the box that contains all of these items, putting them all in spaces. So we say here, space between, save this, and probably I want to expand this one by, let's say 400 pixels. You can see here now it will maximize itself. If I open up here, get this here, you can see 400 pixels is being used. Then you have to compute it, 400 or 360 to be exact, 20 on that side because of the border box. Remember the border box rule? There we are. So that's fine. If you say, well, I don't want them beside each other, I want them below each other, what we can do here is flex, direction, column. But in that one, there you are, and then of course you can reposition them. Alright, but for us now, no need. So alright, enough CSS for now. So now what we need to do is we need to pinpoint it. We need to get these colors and pinpoint that every item here should have that certain color. So how will we do this? Well, basically here we can do this one. We have this. This should be really looped here. It's horrible to have these things, but that's alright. So we say here, now we can do it maybe here above, just for simplicity's sake, and later on we can refactor it. Label, and then what we want to do here is the following. Label background, is that style? We're going to say the style because we're going to do it in CSS. Yes, because what we want to do is we want to adjust here the label, and oh wait, let me not adjust the label, sorry. I want to adjust the circle first. That's easier because it's easy to spot this one. Circle, and then get the color. So what we're going to do is here, and then we say background color equal what exactly? Well, let's look here. How do we get the background color? I'm not going to get this background color and get the border color to be specific. Why? As I told you before, border color is solid red. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this color here. How do we get that? Simply this. My chart. For my chart, we go down here to the data sets, and then we go to the border color. But the data set here, this here is an array, meaning this is 0 because this is the first index or the first element in the array, and array starting count is 0. So this is here, and then we want here, and this is as well also index 0. Remember that. So these are hard coded, so we're going to hard code them in for now. So we say my chart dot, and then we say here data. How do we get that? From my chart to data. Then we get here to data sets, and data sets is index 0. So here we put in 0 dot, and then we go here to border color. Border color, and border color is also index 0. There we are. So once we did this, and if we save this, we should now see a readjustment of color. There you are. As you can see, the color has been adjusted. I'm going to remove this color then here, because I don't want this color anymore. This is background color blue. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this 5 more times, but of course with the matching numbers. Alright, that's 3, 4, 5, and 6. So a total of 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, how do we start here? We put in here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, same story. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Save this, refresh. Now we have these colors, or do we have them? No, we don't have them. So let's double check what's going on here. Background color. Oh, of course. Sorry. What did I make a mistake here? Maybe you figured it out while I was doing this. As I told you, your data set is 0, meaning if we don't have another data set, because basically this is only the data set 0. If you would have another data set, it would be like this. It would be another item here with a comma. Then this would be data set 1. So my mistake. Make sure This should be all 0. Alright, save this, refresh, there we are. We get all the colors now. Let's get the labels. So how to get the labels? Well, the labels is quite easy. If you understand this, you should know the structure of the labels now. So how to get the labels? Just only this way. The only difference is this. You go from my chart to data to labels. And that's it. Alright, so we say here the following. We say label. And then we say here dot. Not style. What we want to do is we want to get the text here, right? So we're going to get the text. This means we're going to adjust the text here with the use of JavaScript. That would mean inner text in JavaScript. Once we have this, and then we say equal, and then we go to the structure here. We say my chart dot data dot, and then we have the data, and then we have the labels. All right, labels is an array again. So this one is, remember, pay attention, it's labels with an S, not with an, because basically this is plural. So this is plural, labels with S. This is label, the single specifies the title basically of the chart. So we say here labels 0. And if I save this, I should see now red. Oh well, what we can do here, I'm going to remove red. I just put in all blanks. And if I save this now, we should see now the red text only on one. There you are. That's fine. I'm satisfied with the result. Now let's continue on. Do the same thing, and then from 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. So label 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Then here, this one, because remember we don't have any data sets here, so we have no problem with that. This can be numbered. So we've got this now. There we are. So now we have this. That looks beautiful. What I want to do is I want to remove this legend above. So we say here in options, and then here pay attention. So in Chart.js 3. So I know you watched my video here, as I indicated, it was Chartjs 2.9. They have a different structure. So if you watch now this video, we are working with 3.3.2. So that's new one, and they have certain adjustments. One of the adjustments is the legend. So here pay attention. The only adjustment here is basically plugins. And in the plugins, you say legend. And in here, we'll say display. And then I say false. Alright, so this means that we're going to hide the legend built in here. So once we refresh, there you are. It's hidden now. There you are. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have these hovered here around. And I realized that we should maybe have some padding between here. So what I'm going to do is, in the labels, well, what we can do here, I just say here class label, or even just to simplify it, I don't want to do class label. I will just say this, and this is not really the best way to do it, honestly, because the more of these breakdowns you have, the more complicated it becomes. So I don't recommend this. This is not best practice, but I just want to I don't want to put in multiple times the class. So I just say here span. Oh, that would be a problem here. Sorry, no, this is not possible because it will create here too much padding everywhere. Sorry. I have to make a class, and I have to put it in there. All right. Dot label here, padding 10 pixels, or maybe sorry, I will put it on here. Padding 10 pixels. I'll just put it in here because this is covering these. All right. So refresh. That looks better. The reason why I want to do this is I want to make sure that later on, when I hover over it, I know which one I'm hover over it. So that's why I'm doing this. All right. So we've got this now. This is all done. Final part. Here, what we're going to do is here we're going to work with the mouse over. So basically say on mouse over, and then we say here highlight. I will just say this will be highlight function. All right. So basically, we have a function here. When we mouse over this item, we will highlight the specific item we want. So I guess you probably figure out that when we are on the red, we want to highlight this, and we could, for example, make this black. I have no idea. We just give it a color. Doesn't matter. So that's what we're going to do. So here we're going to say color. Put in single quotation. Why single quotation? Because we have double quotation here. If not, you will break the function here itself. So If we mouse over, it will trigger a function in JavaScript which is called highlight, and then here we will change the color. Let's make this black, for example. That's very straightforward, so at least it will pop up immediately. Same story we're going to do with the others. And I'm putting this value here because it's hard-coded in there, and later on we can maybe do something fancy with that, but that's alright. Let's focus on this here because I know that the video is quite long, sorry about that. But I want to be as elaborate as possible. So we have this here. So basically the moment we highlight it, this becomes black. So we can save this here. And now what we want to do is we're going to make a function here. And this function is basically this. So we say here function, and then we say here highlight. That's the item, that's the function name. And then in here we're going to say the following. What we want to do is basically, what do we want to highlight? The moment we get this is the color, this is our parameter. This is the parameter here, so we say here color. Basically we will do this. The moment we highlight over this, the background color or the border color, whatever you want, must become black. So or basically in here. So what it is what we're going to do is we're going to assign a specific value, as they say here, again back to my chart data sets, and then you go here to background color. So that's what we're going to do here. So we say here my chart. Oh, sorry, not like this, but what we're going to do is we say the following. Oh, sorry, this is correct. My chart. I'm getting confused. My chart, and then we say here data sets. Data sets. Remember, this is an index 0 dot, and then we say here background color specific value, which is number 0. Remember, this is the first one. So if you hover over the first one, it becomes that. And if you hover over the second one, we should have that as well. Maybe we can give it a number here. I figured out. This could be as well. Alright, I will do that afterwards. Then we say here, color will be black. Is black. Oh, sorry, it should be color. Alright. If we save this now, you will see that there should be an adjustment. We'll hover over it. Oh, doesn't work yet. Function highlight. Of course. So right now you will see if it doesn't do like this, and then we hover over it, will it go back? And there you are. So it works, but it's specifically one. And the reason why this happens is simply this. The issue is the item. We need to update the chart. So we say up my chart dot update. So when we do this now, refresh, and now if you hover over anything right now, we just only pinpoint 1 because the chart is of course hard coded on 1. Right? So all of these have the same function, but they are just hard coded. However, if you remove from here, it still stays black. Alright? Don't worry about it, we're going to solve that one. So what I'm going to do here is first, I'm going to add up here another argument. So I say here the value, this will be 0. Yes, and this will be 1. This will be 2. This will be 3. And why? Here's a question. Why is there no quotation here? The answer is there is no. This is a number, not a string. This is a string. This is a number. Alright. So we save this, and then we say here color, and then we say here num. And then what we do here is num. So then this should work. I refresh, does it work? There you are. If I go to purple, there you are. If I go to red, there you are. Blue, there you are. Alright, so we got one part now. And this is quite fun, to be honest. I never used this, I never thought about it, but I like the idea. So, we've got this now. Next one. Where are we? Mouse over. So what is then the next one? So I'm going to put in here a new one, which says on mouse out. This would mean if you are mouse over, it becomes black, and if you're mouse out, we should get the color that we have, and then we have to pinpoint again these colors here. Alright, So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this slightly hard-coded, but that's all right for now. So we say here, back color, I guess, original C for color. All right, so I'm just making up these functions, but I would highly recommend you to get proper names for this. Same structure here, 0 here, color here. This could be whatever the color is in our background. We're going to get the background color, put it in here. All right, copy all of this, and then you say here the same story. After this one here, after the double quotation, then we put in the other mouse out, and then we continue on, continue on, and continue on, and continue on. Here, or paste, paste, paste. All right. Then here, again, number 5, number 4, number 3, number 2, and number 1. All right. So the next part is, and maybe it's hard to read. I know that it's quite hard to read, so sorry about that. But then we get the background colors. Get the background color. This is for the number 1, the background color, which was a blue color, if I'm not mistaken. After that, we have here another color. This was the light yellow. We put it in here. Then we have this color. It's the number 4, or number 4, but it's the 3rd index. 4th element, number 5 here. The 5th element should be in the index number 4, and the final element, or the final color, for number 5 here. All right. So once we save this, let's refresh, and then let's check. There we are. Oh, what happened here? I realized that we didn't yet do the function. So we're going to get the function again. Similar structure. The only thing is, this is, we call this original C for original color, and maybe this should be a big C or original. I just call it original C. Give it a proper name. All right, and then we say here, this background color 0. Yes, the data set is still the same, but this one number is dynamic, and the color is dynamic in update chart again. So if I go back orange, and then I move from orange, there we are. Purple, move purple. Green, move from green, etc., etc. So with this, you can play around with it, and you can create all these kind of nice effects. With this, you basically created the thing you want. And this is basically how you can create a hover effect directly on it. Of course, if I click on it, this part doesn't adjust on it. So remember that this needs to be attached as well. However, you have to I would highly recommend working with HTML, especially if you want to customize stuff on there like what you wanted. So this is the most important one. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in Chart.js, check out in the description box the link directing to my Chart.js course, where you can learn everything about Chart.js. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.